A quiet farm turns dark in the early 1800s. The Bell family moved to Adams, Tennessee, a small, peaceful farming community. John Bell, his wife Lucy, and their children were excited about their new life. The farmland was rich, the neighbors were friendly, and the family believed they had found the perfect home. But beneath this calm surface, something dark and unexplainable was waiting. Their story would become one of the most terrifying and well-documented hauntings in American history. The Bell Witch haunting. Strange noises in the night. It began with sounds. At first, the Bells dismissed them as normal farm noises. Scratching on the wooden walls, tapping on the floors, the creak of boards when no one was walking. But soon, the sounds grew louder and stranger. Knocks echoed through the rooms at night. The family sometimes heard footsteps outside, though no one was there. Dogs barked furiously at empty corners. The Bells tried to ignore it, but each night, the noises returned. An invisible force in the house. Before long, the haunting became physical. Bed sheets were pulled away while the children slept. Hair was yanked by invisible hands. Betsy Bell, the youngest daughter, was slapped and pinched, leaving red marks on her skin. The family prayed for protection, but the attacks grew worse. It was as though something was inside their home, and it wanted them to know it was there. The voice of the witch. Soon, the Bells began to hear whispers. At first, the words were faint, too soft to understand, but the voice grew clearer and stronger. One night, it spoke plainly. It sang hymns, quoted scripture, and even mocked the family. Visitors, too, claimed they heard it, a clear human voice that came from nowhere. The entity revealed its identity, calling itself Kate, but the world would come to know it as the Bell Witch. Betsy Bell's suffering. The spirit seemed to target Betsy Bell most of all. She was attacked again and again, slapped, scratched, and tormented until she cried. Her family watched helplessly, unable to stop the unseen force. When Betsy became engaged to a young man, the witch screamed with fury. It demanded that she break off the relationship. Terrified of what the witch might do, Betsy eventually ended her engagement. Her future was stolen by a ghostly presence she could not escape. The decline of John Bell. The Bell Witch also hated John Bell, the father. It mocked him constantly, calling him Old Jack. He suffered from choking sensations, as though invisible hands were wrapped around his throat. His health began to fail. He grew weaker and weaker, while the witch's voice taunted him day after day. In 1820, John Bell slipped into a coma. Near his bed, the family discovered a strange black liquid. The Bell Witch then declared, "I gave Old Jack a big dose of that medicine." John Bell died soon after. Many believed the Bell Witch had killed him, making it the first recorded case of a supernatural entity causing a death. Visitors faced the witch. The haunting did not stay confined to the Bell family. Neighbors, friends, and strangers all experienced it. Some heard the voice, others felt slaps, pinches, or pushes from invisible hands. The legend spread so far that it reached Andrew Jackson, the future president of the United States. Curious, he visited the Bell farm with his men, but their horses refused to move forward. Strange noises filled the air. The men were shaken, and some begged to leave. Even Andrew Jackson himself supposedly said, "I'd rather fight the entire British Army than spend another night with the Bell Witch." What was the Bell Witch? The haunting raised many questions. Who, or what, was the Bell Witch? Some believed it was the spirit of a woman named Kate Batts, who had a grudge against John Bell. Others thought it was a demon pretending to be human. And some said it was a curse placed on the family, meant to destroy them. But no matter the theory, no one could deny the power of the events. Too many people had seen and heard too much for it to be dismissed as imagination. John Bell's death and the witch's triumph. The haunting reached its climax with the death of John Bell. The witch had promised to kill him, and when he died under mysterious circumstances, many believed it had kept its word. At his funeral, mourners reported hearing the witch's laughter echoing through the air. It mocked the grieving family and community, celebrating John Bell's death. For the Bells, this was the most terrifying proof that the witch was real and unstoppable. The spirit's departure. After John Bell's death in 1820, the spirit slowly began to fade. In 1821, it announced it was leaving, but promised to return in 7 years. Some claimed it did return in 1828, but the activity was minor compared to before. Eventually, the witch seemed to vanish, but the story never did. The Bell Witch Cave today, near the old Bell Farm, lies a cave known as the Bell Witch Cave. Visitors report cold winds, eerie voices, and even ghostly apparitions inside. Paranormal investigators from around the world come here, hoping to experience the legend for themselves. The cave has become one of America's most haunted sites, keeping the Bell Witch story alive. The unsolved truth: the Bell Witch haunting remains one of the most famous, unsolved mysteries in history. Was it truly a spirit seeking revenge? Was it a demon, or something darker? Or was it the shared fear of a community, magnified until it felt real? No one knows the answer, but the witnesses were many. The stories are detailed, and the events were too terrifying to be ignored. Even now, more than 200 years later, people still whisper about the Bell Witch. Some claim she still lingers in the cave, waiting to strike again. The dark legacy of the Bell Witch is more than just a ghost story. It is a reminder of how fragile human life is when faced with the unknown. The Bells were an ordinary family, but their suffering became one of the darkest legends of all time. The haunting teaches us one chilling truth: sometimes, the most terrifying things are not what we can see, but what we cannot. Your support keeps these stories alive. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and stay tuned for the next terrifying mystery.